Ciao everyone, thanks for connecting. I am Olga Afanasyeva, and here is the VC chat room that we co-host and we organize with my soulmate Olga, who is also a friend. And as a reminder, so we have live sessions here at Zoom and on Facebook as well, usually. So we start with Q&A with the venture capitalists, focused mostly on the current situation and what is coming next, like how to prepare, what to do ourselves. And it will be followed by your questions, which I will use in our further discussions. So feel free to comment in a chat or in a Q&A session, which you can find below. And in like 15, 17 minutes, you will be able to listen to the answer of your question from Shannon, who is our guest actually today. So I'm very happy that a friend of mine, I hope I can say like this, and a marvelous woman. I'm very proud to know her. This is Shannon Kalayanamitr. She's the venture partner of GOBI Ventures, GOBI Partners, GOBI VC, which is the South Asian Chinese focused fund managing over $1 billion in 12, I guess, countries of Asia. She was also the entrepreneur herself, an investment banker, and we will talk a bit later about that. She's also the gender equality supporter, one of the female leaders in Asia. And she was one of our speakers in Davos, where we actually met thanks to our common friend. Hi, Shannon, and thank you for being here today.
Hi, Sodika.
So,
how are you?
Good, good. So let's start like with the warm-up question. Did your routine change with this quarantine, or like with some kind of international job? We used to travel a lot. I'm sure you do it often. So did it really change? And what changes have been in your life since this outbreak?
It changed drastically, actually. So I think I met you last in January in Davos, and at that time I was traveling almost 2 weeks out of every month, and so and then in February I was also in Berlin. And a few trips down there as well on behalf of GOBI. And then this struck. And so I was quarantined for a while in Bangkok, and in Bangkok skyscraper. So we live in a tall building, 30 floors, tons of multicultural families. And I kind of knew where we were headed right after quarantine. It turns out my kids' school was canceled, so no more school. So we had to adjust to homeschooling. Luckily, really luckily, my sister, who is a kindergarten teacher, moved in with us a month earlier. I didn't, just big fluke. So she helped me put together a plan, and she helped teach them while I was trying to figure out, we work from home anyway. I think you and most VCs and people in tech can understand that we're used to working from home, or we're used to working in our hotel rooms or whatever. But I think the new surge of everybody expecting that everybody was working from home, from our company that had 66 people, right? Well, our Southeast Asian company has about 20, 30 people. And so at that point, there's a big surge of everybody's working, everybody's gonna be on calls, everybody's like there. So there's a bit of adjustment there. And so needless to say, I had the life of being in a condo, my kids that were being homeschooled, but yet they were around. My office wasn't completely set up yet, but it was okay. And then having to live in that big building where everybody was ordering online. So every day you would see tons of new people. Like I went a little bit in too much press, right? This was in March already, too much press. And so basically at that time, I heard some issues about Bangkok, where I live, Thailand, locking down or curfew. So I decided quite a long time ago, now it's like a month and a half already. Mm-hmm. I tried to get as far away from Bangkok as I could. I didn't have to get on a plane. So I took my sister, I took my two kids, drove 5 hours, and now we're on this island here in Koh Chang, which is like past Pattaya, which is near Cambodia, crystal clear waters. And so now I think that the schedule is very much adjusted. So now we wake up 9 a.m. We wake up, earlier, 9 a.m. Kids have their school. There's stranded British teachers here. So we found a tutor to teach them from 9 to 12. I work my normal calls, and then we have lunch together, which is great. And then from 1 until like 5 p.m., work. Their nanny is the dog and crabs and hermit crabs here. And then at 5, yoga, and then eat, and then a bit more of work, and then sleep. And I sleep at 8 p.m.
Wow.
That's it. That's my every day. So it's been nice, actually. So it took a while to adjust, but finally, I think, it's been a lot better to restructure everything.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. And like for me personally, I'm afraid that after finish of quarantine, I would not be super happy to go out and like stuck in the traffic and go to office every day. So it's kind of challenging and scary about that.
Yeah, how has it changed for you? Like, is it very different for you? Do you usually go to the office every day? Like, how does that go? Like, how does that happen?
It didn't change much for me. It's a bit challenging to work every day close to my husband, to be true, but we're actually doing fine, thanks God. I don't have children yet, so more or less my routine is very, very similar to what it had been previously. Though there are like overall global economic challenges like instability and uncertainty, what will happen next, like different changes on the market, this part influence. But in terms of routine, I'm totally fine. As you said, I'm used to work in the hotels, whatever I am. So basically it's the same, but I'm more often at home. So it's kind of like that.
Sorry, go on.
No. So previously to becoming a venture partner at GOBI, you have been an entrepreneur, and actually successful entrepreneur. So you founded the lifestyle e-commerce platform for women, if I'm not mistaken, called Moxie, which later became Orami. And like, how was your shift from entrepreneur to venture capitalist look like? Did it change much, or is this a similar kind of adventure, but from the different side?
So I actually really like venture capital, and as you know, right, there's like many parts of venture capital. So there's the fundraising, there is the investment side, there is the portfolio management side, and there's many other things as well. But I mean, specifically for me, I got to touch upon all of them. I'm not a fan of the investment side. I feel that I like to get my hands dirty, and that comes from the entrepreneur side. So I really found my calling with the portfolio management, because I get to help a lot of different startups. They're not like our babies, but they're kind of like, we take care of them, right? And it's like, okay, you need this help. Okay, I'll help you here. And then, a lot of them, they just need, reach in other markets. They need help in fundraising, especially, and I guess we'll get to this in a bit, but they need help to go through recessions and, financial difficulties and whatnot. But I really enjoyed that part. And I feel that the portfolio management really comes in from the entrepreneurial side. Whereas the fundraising side, I do have to say that was a big learning curve for me last year. I fundraised for my startup before. I used to be an investment banker, but completely different ballgame. I feel like, and maybe, asking you as well, like, I had to go back and brush up on my finance, like the whole asset allocation, help investors look at, managing their money and what we're up against as a VC asset class compared to everything else. So, being an entrepreneur in so long, it's kind of like, oh wait, my little world is here. And now wait, there's a whole world out there. And that was a big learning curve, and I'm still learning. But I think that, I'm blessed to have really great friends around me and great team mentorship at GOBI too. So yeah, it's been challenging and fun, but I still love it. I really enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, it's important that good people and experienced people surround it, so it helps this journey to make it more fun and more, like not relaxed, but more confident in and smooth in getting used to it. And a minor comment to what you said is like, startups are like babies. In my, I call it like previous life before UVCA, before Venture Capital Association, I was the university lecturer. So like while working with the students, I see the similar pattern while like investors working with startups is very, very similar. I mean, investors are like teachers, let's say, and students are like startups. So yeah, like
ocean. Yeah.
Yeah, like babies sometimes. But let's get back and let's get back and like to the current time and wear back your venture hat. So like there is still money in the bank for venture capitalists, though many of them are focusing on their portfolio companies because some of them are challenged by the outbreak, like for some manufacturing is stopped, some are like out of the cash and so on. And what are your observations regarding this? What will or should be the next steps for venture capitalists and how to like to break this new routine, I would say? What are your thoughts on that?
And you're absolutely right. I mean, when we saw this coming, and a lot of people were still debating, oh, it's just a flu versus whatever. The repercussions came really fast. It just like it hit everybody, and you're right. Everybody who's a good VC, basically is taking care of their portfolio companies, and so that was definitely everybody's first and only job. Like we took care of had to check in on everybody, our very early stages, all the way to our growth stages, everybody. And this is a norm for everybody, but we had our business continuation plans that everybody did. And basically, what if COVID basically goes until August? What happens? If it goes until the end of the year, what happens? If it goes into next year? We have research forecasts that says that China will recover. I think it's from McKinsey or something, but China will recover to pre-COVID times next year in Q2. And that's China. Wow. So everybody else, and it didn't say like where in China, but I think it averaged China or something, right? And so everybody else is like, oh no. So obviously we go through runway, we go through, what people need. I mean, very tough choices, but also what's interesting is very interesting creative strategies that came out of there. And we're lucky that we are in tech, and I don't wish this on anybody, but we are, it's our asset class and the speciality that we're in. And so we do have a lot of winners and losers. Obviously across the board, everywhere, we all know this, people keep talking about it, aviation, travel, retail, like just a bunch of these offline have just been losers. But luckily, we also have ways to pivot those. So like, for example, we have one travel / prop tech play. She pivoted from dailies to monthlies. And so that saved like a lot. And then some of the companies we have to go on hibernation. Luckily, not too many. We have another company that actually, instead of severance, they worked every other day. And so there are many different creative ways of doing this. And that was really tough. But obviously the winners are, the drones, anything autonomous. We have like what we call what we call essential retail. So we have, everybody knows medical, right? So that's all at the up. We have Robo-Advisory wealth management because people have time on their hands, and they're like basically diversifying into gold or like safer, bonds and whatever. So it's an interesting time, and portfolio wise, that's still where we're at. You asked about opportunity, what else we should be doing. We actually are launching some initiatives. There's still a press release and stuff to come out, so that's later. But there are some really good entrepreneurs and companies that come out now. If you recall, like Facebook and Google, they all raised their money during 2008. So we see a lot of these, like, again, we were talking about this in the board and the management call the other day. We really see people shining at this point, and if they are not real entrepreneurs, they're not gonna, you know how some people are like entrepreneurs, they just like want to be an entrepreneur. So yeah, so we're really seeing people that are real entrepreneurs that really stick through it, the ones that really deserve the money, and we have that powder, so that is there for them. And so I think there's definitely like a big opportunity here, although it's also, you know, both cautious, time to be cautious. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing.
Thank you for sharing that. And which sectors do you think are like the hottest and will be hottest during the next time? Maybe you can even name some companies if they're not on the name.
Well, I mean, you know, like some of the big surges we're seeing, logistics. We're seeing essential retail, like I said, right? We see big spikes and all that. The biggest spikes were in autonomous, like drones. So we have this one company called Eureka, and basically what they do is they have their data analysis. They basically take telcos data and then they basically mine them and then help monetize them. But what they actually did with this software was they went to all the telcos, worked with the governments in some of the governments in Southeast Asia to help track COVID patients and who they're affected and how, you know, those people are moving. And so basically, because in Asia, we have a problem with accountability and transparency, because a lot of us are not as disciplined as people like in Europe that basically say, if you stay home, you stay home, we don't stay home. So there's a lot of opportunities. I'm seeing a lot of uptick in players like that. That's one of our portfolio companies. There's a company that I really love. He's a dear friend. I met him in Davos with you guys. His name's Kumar. He has a company, and we're still looking at it right now, disclaimer, but it's called Unmanned. And basically, and this is above, like my expertise is more e-commerce. So my partner is looking on this one, but basically what it is it's a software that manages drone teams. So it helps automates many different types of drone teams. So for example, if you're a manager and you have to manage 10 different types of team, like the operations, finance, blah, 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 you don't have to change your manager software to manage all those people. So this one basically AI and manages all of them. So like those types of softwares and plays that are highly scalable, very little burn. He's done an amazing job with like UPS and Walmart partnerships, as well as like the Singapore government. So I think that one's really hot right now. And it's just gone this way, right? It's all AI, it's all data, it's all autonomous. And more it's just going to be, we're just going to see so much more of this.
Yeah. That's interesting. Thanks for sharing. I hope this will be helpful for those who will watch us on YouTube and watching us here. And as a reminder, guys, you have a chance to ask the question. Just click below in the chat or in the Q&A section. We will come to your questions very, very soon. It's almost the last question to you. I cannot drop this topic. I know that you're a great supporter of gender equality, of female entrepreneurship, and actually in October 2018, you have represented GOBI to pledge to invest $50 million in businesses established by women. So, like one of the questions is, like, let's talk about this a little bit. And do you think that female-founded companies will and female founders will suffer more in this uncertain situation and in this outbreak, or which are other challenges that are faced by female entrepreneurs? How can we overcome, and how we as, you know, like venture capitalists can support them to have like more female on top positions and really decision makers?
Yeah, so it's funny because last week I had to think about this a lot, because I was talking to the $1 billion fund in the US who helped, which is how we pledged $50 million to women. And then I was talking to UN Women, and they all talked the same thing. It's like, do you think that women are suffering more? I think economically, we're all suffering. Like everybody's suffering. It's just really bad for everybody right now. And sometimes when we bring up the topic, it becomes very sensitive to men, women, everyone. If we say, you know, we're more suffering, I think the challenges that you said is basically that I'm seeing is that it's like you and me, right? We're at home. When I logged on earlier, I had my 2 kids running around, and your partner had like her kid, right? So when we're at home, I think it's more challenges like that. You're there, your husband's there, or whoever, and then who's the one that needs to take care of homeschool? You know, like it was so hard for me to teach them how to, like, I have to remember my phonics again, abe, like, ka, ah, ta, you know, like all of that stuff, right? So I think it's more challenges of that are more highlighted now than it was before. I mean, it's always been there, but now that we're seeing it at home, there's more time management. And so we have homeschool, we have, you know, laundry, you know, for people who have laundry, we have to cook for them and all this other stuff. So I think that's probably one of the bigger challenges. If you want to get into investment, women already have challenges with getting investment due to our nature and everything. And there's a whole, if you want more information, go to thebillionDollarFund.org. But I think that, you know, with these times and less resources and less investment on the table, yes, we do have challenges, but it's really what tools and resources do we give to women? And there's a ton of that online. But on the flip side, perhaps this is the leveling the playfield, not flattening the curve, leveling of the playfield, because we are home. Like the first example, we are home. The husband is also there. Maybe the husband sees what the woman is doing, and maybe he would help out. So it's an opportunity to see and help out there. So that's one. The other one is in getting investment and access to online resources. There are a lot right now. And because everybody's on video, perhaps that's a way that it's leveling as well, because there's a ton of online competitions. There's a ton of grants out there. Everybody basically, it's just whether or not you do your research online. So it's a pro and con as well. But I think that the upside, if there is one for COVID, is that people are seeing what other people are doing in their lives now. And I feel that there's a lot of empathy being, you know, seen now. And I think it's a good thing. I mean, I have one question for you, actually. What are you going to do that's different after COVID?
Well,
something during this time that, like, whoa, there's a new habit I picked up, or something, or mindset, or something, like, so something you do differently.
I think devote more time to my family. I mean, parents, relatives, and doing more, like, work job-wise, doing more things online. Like, I cannot say that my online presence was not visible, but still, like, more presence is more important currently. And actually, this project we started on quarantine, it's just started. Yeah. So this is one of the things. Yeah, I think like that. And what is for you?
I know, sorry, I didn't mean to spring it. I just thought about, oh, what are you going to do differently? Right. It's just, I'm very curious. So I think that the time management thing, I think I just didn't put enough time into things that are important. And I see the changes in my kids, meaning that they appreciate and whatever. And even for this yoga thing that I just picked up, like, I don't work out. So I think there's a lot more, like what you said, more valued time to family and friends and that.
Yeah, it's all about values. I also started doing yoga more regularly, and we bought the, you know, like this cycling training thing. So I'm trying to cycle like every day or every 2 days.
I hope you stick to it. You gotta stick to it. Oh,
yeah,
God.
I lost 2 kilos.
Oh my God, you.
So it's the last question from me. I like reading books, and I think that leader is really a reader. So which book would you recommend to venture capitalists, maybe related to these circumstances, or maybe not, just, like the book that you would like to share?
So I assume that most of the venture capitalists are like, they're doing their own business books and all that stuff already. For me, I recently picked up a book. It's an old book, not old, but it's not very new. It's called Mindset. And it basically, I mean, especially during all this quiet time now, there's a lot of, when we're out there and we have to be out, and some people, you have a little bit of pressure, social anxiety, you have to impress or whatever, and you hear other people's thoughts. But this one, like, I feel like it's a nice time to reset our mindset and what we actually think about our own opinions, and the resilience to get to like how we deal with issues and mindsets to actually get through challenges. So yeah, it's been a really good book that I picked up in the last airport I was at a long time ago. Like,
it's great.
Yeah.
Thank you. A great recommendation. I love this topic as well. So my questions are over, though I would like a million much more, but let's pass this role to our panel, to our guests. So yeah, we have the compliments for you. And also the question from, I like the second question from Daryl Chan, who is asking, under what conditions, circumstances should startups consider hibernation as a viable strategy to tide through this pandemic? So when to hibernate?
Yeah, so it depends on, right now, whoever can survive the longest, like during this time, that's priority number one, right? So if you have 6 months of runway, if you have 12 months of runway, that's the indicator. I mean, there's a lot of companies that we've seen, whether our portfolio, others, that want to keep doing R&D, during this time, want to keep their keep their R&D going, but there's no sales. And with the R&D, even though they have the best product ever at the end of 6 months, but no runway left, then it's like, hey, what's going on? So it's really survival. It comes down to that. What is your minimum viable product of yourself that you could live, unfortunately. And that's been the main thing so far.
So basically, they need to push to the limits, and not to think about hibernation is the first thing.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to hibernate, right? But really, like, I mean, again, another company, a friend was talking about, a travel company and 0 revenues, right? So like, what are you gonna do? Like, you literally will not get any bookings for the next 6 months. So it's crazy to burn anything. Luckily, they do have a lot of runway, but it just comes down to survival. I mean, it's a calculation based on everybody. It's that simple.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, we're not, just one more thing. We're not talking about people who are thriving in this kind of economy. I mean, we had another call with another board meeting for another call. They are doing amazing because they're doing financial advisory, Robo-Advisory, and yeah, like, this is the time to step on marketing. So, I mean, but obviously they're not in the issue of hibernation at all. They don't need to consider hibernation at all, but they do have to consider their costs and everything. So again, hibernation is really about survival.
Yeah, thank you. And I think it will be the last question. So what's your advice to founders on how to approach fundraising this year? Focus on pre-A and A.
Wow. Focus on pre-A and A. What would be my advice? Wow.
Yeah, how to approach fundraising.
Okay. Well, coming from the investor side, we're really, all investors as well, we're looking for the best of the best right now, right? So you really need to have you really need to have the reason why you think that you're going to launch your product now and why you are the best one and you have the best like structure as it is. Like it's really tough. I'm seeing a lot of pitches right now, unfortunately, for companies that are not as strong. And maybe it's the third time I've seen the pitch. Maybe they're running out of money. Like if you are that person, and of course I've been there, so I understand, like what is it that's different that sets you apart from last time? Because I'm like, not just me, every VC is going through so many decks right now. And it's like, why me? Why me during this time? And every VC has a finite number of investments they're going to do now. I think it really needs to be compelling and financially scalable too, right? Because your whatever number that you have that you're thinking about pitching now needs to last through the 3 scenarios we talked about earlier. What if it lasts through August, December, or mid next year? And so we're looking for entrepreneurs that passion is not even a word right now. It's really like, can you get through this? Are you the right person to get through this, right? And then how and why now? So there's a lot of key questions to think about, but that's what we're looking at right now.
Yeah. Thank you. I think we will stop our interesting conversation. Thank you once again. It was a pleasure to see you, though distantly, but anyway, to see you and to talk to you. Thank you. So, glad to have you.
Thank you so much. I hope to see you real soon. And I hope to do more stuff with Ukraine. I'm going to go there.
Yes, actually, the plan was for you to come soon this year. Well, hopefully till like closer to the end of the year or early next one. Let's hope for that, and we'll be very happy to see you here. So, guys, yeah, if you're listening to us, Shannon could be in Ukraine soon.
But thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Thank you too. Me too. I really appreciate having you here. So it was VC chat room with Shannon Kalayanamitr, and remember that soon we will be on YouTube. You will have an opportunity to subscribe. So this is the VC chat room powered by me, Olga Afanasyeva, and my soulmate, Olga. Thank you. Bye.